Some people hunt for treasure in old maps, tracing faded lines and cryptic symbols, hoping to uncover a fortune lost to time. They dream of gold coins, ancient relics, or priceless artifacts buried beneath layers of dust and history. Me? My treasure hunt is a little different. I search the forgotten corners of online classifieds where the digital dust gathers and hidden gems are overlooked by most. It's a modern-day adventure, sifting through endless listings, hoping to spot something special among the clutter. That's where I spotted her, a classic BMW E30, listed for just £600. The ad was buried beneath dozens of others, almost invisible to the casual browser. But to me, it stood out like a beacon. Most people would scroll right past, dismissing it as nothing more than scrap metal destined for the crusher. The photos were unflattering, the description was vague, and the price seemed almost suspiciously low. But sometimes, a low price is an invitation, not a warning. It's a chance to see what others can't or won't see. It's a test of vision, of faith, and maybe a little bit of madness. The ad was frustratingly vague, the photos almost miserable. The car looked abandoned, left to rot on a patch of weedy grass, its once proud lines now hidden beneath layers of neglect. It was the kind of listing that made you wonder what stories the car could tell. If only it could talk. "Ran when parked," the seller said. Classic code for, "Good luck, mate." It's the phrase that makes every car enthusiast's heart skip a beat, equal parts hope and warning. You never really know what you're getting into, but the E30's unmistakable boxy silhouette called to me. There's something about those sharp lines and iconic proportions that stirs the soul of any car lover. Even in its neglected state, it had presence. It's an icon, a true driver's car, revered by enthusiasts for its balance, its purity, and its connection to the road. The E30 isn't just a car, it's a piece of automotive history, a symbol of an era when driving was about feel, not just speed. My gut told me this was something special, something worth taking a risk on. So, I arranged a viewing, heart pounding with anticipation and a little bit of fear. In person, the car was even rougher than the photos suggested: faded paint, moss growing in the window seals, dings and scratches everywhere you looked. It wore its years like a badge, every scar telling a story of roads traveled and adventures survived. The seller just wanted it gone, barely glancing at the car as if it were a burden he was finally free of. For him, it was just an old machine taking up space. For 600 quid, I was buying a project and a gamble. But I saw potential where others saw only problems. I saw the chance to bring something beautiful back to life. I handed over the cash, my hands shaking with a mix of nerves and excitement. This was more than just a purchase. It was the start of an adventure, a leap of faith into the unknown. As the tow truck hauled my new project away, I couldn't help but grin. The possibilities raced through my mind. Restoration, road trips, maybe even a track day or two. This wasn't just a car, it was a story waiting to be rewritten, a blank canvas for new memories and experiences. Every dent and faded badge was a chapter yet to be explored. The journey was just beginning, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take me. Back at the workshop, the full horror was revealed. Years of neglect had left their mark on every inch of the car, and it was clear this was no ordinary restoration job. The interior reeked of mildew, a musty smell that clung to the air and hinted at long-forgotten spills and damp. The driver's seat was torn, its foam exposed and crumbling, while the dashboard was cracked and faded from years of sun and heat. Stained carpets, littered with old wrappers and coins, told a tale of neglect and abandonment. Every surface seemed to have a layer of grime, and the glove box was stuffed with faded papers and broken pens. Outside, the once shiny silver paint was now chalky and dull, flaking away in places. Rust bubbled on the arches, eating into the metal, and duct tape held a battered wing mirror in place, a makeshift fix that had long since given up on subtlety. The tires were flat and brittle, the grille chipped and missing pieces, and a headlight was cracked, its glass clouded and useless. Even the wipers were warped and stiff, barely clinging to the windshield. Under the bonnet, things looked even worse. Grime coated every surface, the battery was long dead, hoses were brittle and ready to snap, and the oil was thick and tar black, a sign of years without a proper service. The suspension sagged under the car's weight, the brakes were seized solid, and the exhaust had a gaping hole, making any hope of a quiet drive impossible. Every mechanical system seemed to have its own unique disaster. Most people would have called the scrapyard without a second thought, convinced this car was beyond saving. It looked like just another lost cause, destined to be stripped for parts. but I saw a challenge, not a lost cause. Where others saw a heap of problems, I saw potential and a story waiting to be rewritten. This car was 100 little problems, not just one big one. Each issue was a puzzle to solve, a step on the road to bringing it back to life. It would take time, money, and patience, more than most would be willing to give. But I was ready to invest all three, determined to see this project through. As I looked at that sad, battered machine, I felt a surge of determination, not defeat. The road ahead would be long, but I was ready for the challenge. I was going to save this car no matter what it took. Let the work begin. Why bother with a wreck like this? For me, it's about passion. The E30 is a symbol of a golden age, simple, rear-wheel drive, and pure. I saw past the rust to the brilliant machine beneath. There's nostalgia too. My first sports saloon was an E30, and I wanted to relive those memories. Restoring this car felt like giving back to the legacy. I loved the challenge, diagnosing, fixing, and bringing something broken back to life. This was the ultimate puzzle, testing my skills and patience, and honestly, I wanted to prove the doubters wrong. My mates laughed, even Ed raised an eyebrow, but I love an underdog story. With vision and elbow grease, I'd show what was possible. This wasn't just about a car, it was about second chances. Every neglected car deserves one. First up, the engine. No point making it pretty if it won't run. We drained the sludge, swapped the filter, and fitted a new battery. After a few coughs, the engine fired up. Rough, but alive. Next, the brakes, all four wheels off. Calipers rusted solid. We replaced discs, pads, hoses, and bled the system. Then the suspension, worn shocks and springs swapped for new, restoring that classic BMW handling. We tightened up tired bushes and silenced the clunks. The exhaust was a mess, but a second-hand replacement did the trick. Fitting it was a struggle, but the straight-six hum returned. The car was finally starting to feel like a BMW again. Each fix brought it back to life. It was dirty, hard work, but absolutely worth it. The heart of the car was beating strong. Now, onto the surprises. No project is complete without mistakes. First, I tried to save money by patching the rocker cover gasket with sealant instead of buying a new one. Result? A bigger oil leak and a messy cleanup. Lesson learned, don't cut corners. Then, while fitting a new wing mirror, I dropped the mounting plate inside the door. Half an hour fishing with a magnet and Ed was in stitches. Finally, I jet washed the engine bay, thinking I'd protected the electrics. The car wouldn't start, water in the distributor cap. More time drying and reassembling. Each blunder was a lesson in patience and humility. You laugh, you learn, and you keep going. That's all part of the journey. With the mechanics sorted, it was time for the transformation. We sanded rust, filled dings, and used aerosol cans to blend the original silver paint. A weekend of careful spraying and a 3-stage polish brought back the shine. The car looked worlds apart from the faded wreck I'd bought. Inside, we swapped the cracked dash, deep cleaned everything, and had the torn seat professionally repaired. New alloy wheels and tires, a fresh grille, and a fixed headlight completed the look. Every detail added up. The final reveal was magic. The sad, neglected BMW was now a gleaming classic. It looked sharp, purposeful, and ready for the road. All the hard work had paid off. We'd saved a piece of motoring history. The transformation was complete. Now for the real test, the drive. The first test drive, always the best part. I slid into the clean, supportive seat and fired up the straight six. The engine purred, the steering felt direct, and the new suspension transformed the handling. On a twisty B road, the car came alive. Balanced, responsive, pure driving joy. Every gear change and corner was a reward for the effort. I remembered the rust and grime, and now here I was, grinning behind the wheel. Other drivers gave thumbs ups. They saw a classic, not a wreck. The gamble had paid off. This was more than a car, it was an achievement. And the best part? We'd built it on a budget. Now it was time to find it a new home. The journey was nearly complete. But the memories would last. After a few weeks of pure enjoyment, I decided it was time to let the BMW go. This time, I made sure to capture every angle with great photos, highlighting the transformation and telling the full story of the car's journey from neglected project to proud daily driver. I wrote an honest, detailed description, sharing the ups and downs, the repairs, and the little victories along the way. Listing it online felt different. This wasn't just a car for sale, it was a story waiting for its next chapter. Not long after, a young BMW enthusiast reached out. He arrived with a huge grin, clearly excited to see the car in person. We chatted about the work I'd done, and he could see the care that had gone into every detail. When he took it for a test drive, his smile said it all. He was hooked. Handing over the keys felt like the perfect ending to this chapter. There was a real sense of satisfaction, knowing the car was going to someone who truly appreciated it. So what did I learn from this 600-pounds gamble? Don't be afraid to take on a rough project. Sometimes the best cars are hidden beneath layers of dirt, dents, and neglect. It's easy to overlook them, but with a bit of vision, you can see the potential others might miss. Do your research before you dive in, learn about common issues, check the history, and know what you're getting into. Be prepared for surprises, both good and bad. The more you know, the better your chances of success. You don't need a garage full of expensive tools. With patience, determination, and a willingness to learn, even basic hand tools can get the job done. It's about resourcefulness, not just resources. Mistakes are inevitable. You'll drop tools, get frustrated, and sometimes question your decisions. But every mistake is a lesson, and every challenge is a chance to grow. The real reward isn't just the profit at the end, it's the journey. Watching the transformation, learning new skills, and overcoming obstacles is what makes the process truly special. Restoring this BMW was about more than just fixing a car. It was about bringing something back to life, giving it a second chance, and passing it on to someone who would continue its story. So next time you see an unloved car sitting in a driveway or gathering dust in a garage, take a closer look. There might be a hidden gem waiting for someone to believe in it. Who knows? It could be the start of your own restoration adventure, filled with challenges, triumphs, and unforgettable memories. And when you finally drive that car you saved, feeling the engine come to life under your hands, you'll know it was all worth it. That's the magic of a restoration journey. And that's what makes every risk, every late night, and every scraped knuckle worthwhile.